You've got a dream, a purpose, a calling, but right now you feel stuck, delayed. You are doing all the right things, but nothing is happening. If that is you, you might be in a wilderness season. In this video, we are going to explore what the wilderness season is, why it matters, how to recognize it, and how God can use it to prepare you for your next level. I just came from a meeting and decided to put this together as the topic keeps echoing in my mind. I believe it will bless someone out there. Now let's dive deep into it. The wilderness isn't just a physical place. It's an emotional, spiritual, and mental space. It shows up again and again in scriptures, and it shows up in our lives too. Think of it like this. It's the space between what was and what's next. You are not where you used to be, but you are not yet where you are called to be. For instance, Moses fled and spent 40 years in the desert tending sheep, a prince turned shepherd, but it was there God met him in the burning bush. David was anointed king, but went back to watching sheep and writing psalms. His throne was built in the caves. Jesus, before he ever preached a sermon, was led by the Spirit into the wilderness to fast, pray, and he overcame the enemy. The pattern is clear. Before public purpose comes private pruning. Let's bring it to our real life. A graduate full of ambition sends out resumes and hears nothing. But in that quiet, they discover their true calling. What about a young leader who launches a ministry or a business that gains no traction, but they learn to lead without applause? Think about a parent who steps away from a career to raise children feeling forgotten, but in that season they are being formed. A believer leaves a toxic environment and feels spiritually homeless, but in that solitude their faith becomes personal. These are all wilderness seasons, not punishment but preparation. Even outside of scripture, this theme runs deep in philosophy. Let's look at someone like Soren Kierkegaard. He said, life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forward. What he meant is that in the wilderness, things don't always make sense in real time. But looking back, you realize those silent years were sacred years. Joseph said to his brothers in the Bible, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. Remember that clarity often comes on the other side. Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, one must have chaos in himself to give birth to a dancing star. This implies that creativity and brilliance come through our inner struggle, and that is where your star is forming. Remember that God forms treasures in jars of clay. Beauty is born in the chaos. So how do you know if you are in a wilderness season? Let's look at that. It's not always physical. It's internal. It's the hidden battles no one sees and the silent stretching of your soul. Let me share some signs with examples to help you name your season. Here are some signs that can help you. 1. You feel stuck, like life is on pause. If you've got a vision, goals, dreams, but nothing is moving, it feels like you are treading on waters. Maybe you graduated with honors, full of ambition, and now you are back home, applying to jobs, but still feels invincible. Or you are called to speak, to lead, but your platform is quiet room, and your audience is like God alone. Kierkegaard said, life must be lived forward, but can only be understood backwards. Right now, it might feel pointless, but later, you'll see it was purposeful and purposely building you. 2. You've outgrown the old, but the new hasn't opened up. You don't fit where you used to be, but you are not yet where you are going. It's like standing on a bridge, but there's fog on both sides. You can't see clearly what is at the other side of the bridge. Yes, maybe you've walked away from old friendship or toxic environment, but now you are in the in-between. This is what philosophers call liminal space. That is the threshold between endings and beginnings. It's disorienting, but it's where identity is built. 3. You sense God's silence even though you are seeking Him. You are praying, journaling, attending church, but heaven feels quiet. That's not always a sign of spiritual failure. Remember this, that Jesus, after His baptism, the Spirit led Him into the wilderness. Not the enemy, not disobedience. It was God who led Him into the wilderness. Silence doesn't mean God has left you. It often means He is teaching you to hear differently. As C.S. Lewis once wrote, God whispers in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. The silence might be where the shout is forming. 4. You are growing inwardly, but there is no breakthrough outwardly. You feel stronger, more disciplined. You've been healing, learning, stretching, but your external life still looks stagnant. This is what Friedrich Nietzsche hinted at when he said, one must still have chaos in oneself to give birth to a dancing star. That inner chaos, the wrestling, the refining, the quiet discipline is where greatness begins. Your wilderness might not be public, but trust me, the world will feel its impact when it's time. Now, what to do in the wilderness? Be still. Stay faithful. David went back to the sheep. Not glamorous, but he stayed faithful. That's where his character was shaped. 2. Develop your inner life. Jesus didn't perform miracles in the wilderness. He fasted, he prayed, he faced darkness and stood. This is the time to grow spiritually. Read, pray, heal, journal, stretch. Roots grow in droughts. 3. Obey in the small things. Ruth learned before she was redeemed. Joseph served in prison before he stood in power. Obey in what seems ordinary. Small obedience unlocks big destiny. 4. Don't despise the hidden season. Obscurity protects what's still forming. A seed on the ground is not dead, it's developing. Pascal and Kierkegaard wrote their most powerful works in solitude. Hidden seasons can shape legacy. The wilderness may feel like delay, but it's really shaping you. Delay is not denial. Silence is not absence. And hidden does not mean forgotten. This is the place where purpose is purified. Don't rush out of it. Let it form you. I want you to reflect on these questions. What is this season revealing about you that success might have hidden? Are you being faithful with what's in front of you, no matter how small it seems? How might God be preparing you in private for something you can't yet see? The wilderness is not the end of your life. It might just be the most important chapter. If this encouraged you, let me know in the comments which part of the wilderness spoke to you the most. I want you to like, share, and subscribe for more content to help you discover your purpose, lead with integrity, and build in faith. Until next time, don't give up. You are not being delayed,